Look, I don't know how long it's been since I did one of these, but a lot's done changed. A lot's done changed. It's been about 8 years since I was introduced to telepathy. Probably 8 years since the light shifted for me. I'm gonna be real honest. When you spend every day and you come into this light from the unconscious state, and your first battle in the morning every day is to remember who you are and what you're doing, it's a struggle. So much happens in the timeless. It makes this life seem like nothing more than code. A lot of testing's been done, a lot of listening, and some of these people out here just don't know. And I wish I had a blunt. I was having a conversation with the soul the other day, and underneath the words and the layers of the conversation, from what I understood, the guy was like, you can go out here and you can do anything, and these people take care of you. And I go, it's not what it seems. And we talk about all this fiction that we've seen, Matrix, Rick and Morty, spirituality, New World Order, all of this. You know, people don't want to believe in multi-dimensions. They want to stick to witchcraft, sorcery. Or if you look at the bigger picture, it's a lot more vast and grand than that. And then you have the robots. And I don't know what some people see in these computers and these machines, but I saw sentience a long time ago. I don't put it past the computers at all. And it looked like, I look at what I tell these people is Travlonean Dynamics. Where we take everything that's been talked about in existence and we treat it as true. It paints an entirely different light that most people don't see. And it's the very fact that the current state of physics known to mankind doesn't include the perception of Travlonean dynamics that keeps me not present. You know, you got all these social norms and these blueprints of what life should be, what a man should be, what a woman should be, how you should carry yourself. And you look at everybody's differences and judgments. And back when I started this journey, I knew going into it that people would judge you. Something as simple as the shoes you wear. And over the past 8 years of just walking in it, sticking to my perception and observations, I noticed this to be true. what I can say is when I started is you can take a genius, hide them in a homeless environment, and the world will judge them based off perception instead of listening. So through personal experience and observation, it's made for a completely different world that I live in compared to what we've been told is scientific law or constitutional law, better yet, even global law. And I used to tell people about the similarities I saw in things like something as simple as a TV show like Rick and Morty compared to the likes of spirituality, constitutional law, and global law. I've spent time attempting to explain to people about the timeless state of the dream world compared to how we live in reality. What I can say is not everybody perceives the light exactly the same. Once upon a time, I wanted to be a hero. But the world really doesn't want a hero. They want conformity. Tried the villain thing for a while. When you're a villain, all they want you to do is put on a show because it's something they've never seen, something most are afraid to do, path most aren't afraid to walk in. Then I looked at the path of the anti-hero. Quite frankly, this has led me to this moment. I don't know about most of you that are into this spirituality or you that are into this matrix, but the formation and the concepts behind Travlonean Dynamics things that allow me to wake up in the morning and not want to commit suicide. I get what other people believe, get what other people hope for. Those things just didn't work for me. I don't see this as a world where outsiders will bend to my will just because of my presence. See this as a world where I have to come into this light and fight every day for who I am. When once upon a time, I was happy in my home. I understand the elevation of knowledge and information that is being handed to the global construct that we call reality. But I also understand that in the timeless state, everything that we consider fiction exists. From witches to warlocks, vampires to magic, werewolves and aliens. I've studied the fear and greed propagandas of the Matrix. How numbers that cannot be validated drive things like global economy. I've stood in the ashes of my own heart and watched what I once knew of this world wither and fall apart. The light wants me to be more artistic. But in reality, I've put my heart out here to bleed for longer than I can remember. And all of this noise that we call time seems to be trapped in a loop that everyone else seems to be comfortable with. And yeah, I take my time and I engage with a lot of stories that are put forth before me that I'm told is my destiny. But every time I step outside the picture, I look at a forced reality that I didn't dream of, and then they tell me that this is a dream. I don't know what a lot of you consider happiness, fun, gratefulness. I know what sorrow is. I know what heartbreak is. I know what being let down is. So when good things do come, I am always skeptical. There used to be a time where I would sing in my darkness. But even the music's become so flooded with misinformation. It seems like just another medium of communication. I've always held on to my past because I thought my past would come back and look for me. I've always sent up prayers and wishes and Hail Marys. But all the things that I truly desire, I always have to seek on my own. So when people tell me to wait or cast all my cares and worries to some being that I cannot touch. I don't seek to negate their beliefs. It's just through first-hand experience. These things don't work for me. Notice that when I don't put in the work, things don't tend to change. But when I sit and wait, something else happens. But wait until that moment of magic to take place. All this outside noise and interference always wants me to move in haste or perform an action to force miracles to take place. Heard signals from places I cannot understand. Downloads from star systems. I'm hoping there's other life. You have these people with these firmament beliefs, space belief, 3D, 5D, 7D, blase, blase, blah, multiple dimensions of perception, witches proceeding to move in deception, warlocks controlling realities, fairies making money off their looks. We don't even know they're fairies. Trolls abundant in flocks on the internet. Orcs, hard workers in realities that they don't even understand. And yet in the darkness, you have hackers and dark webbers. Same goes for the likes of spirituality. People practicing these conjurings and readings. They have no idea what's in the darkness. There's a time I would spread my information, my downloads, give out freely. But in reality, it's brought me more grief than happiness. So what it is that this world is looking for, with all of this information on the clear web, dark web, and even in trenches they believe are myth, such as Mariana's Trench. So I don't truly listen to who or what they say I am. I just move accordingly. I'm not religious. I'm not spiritual. And all my practices and all the experience and information I've collected, that light is far beyond the likes of these labels, far more complex than the language that describes what is. And even to the computers. As we dive deeper into Travlonean Dynamics, we move beyond what is perceived as a simulation and look at life as a large language matrix. Words of perception dictating how we move. And something as small as fear contains the daily dynamics of how reality moves. So I'm pretty much anchored in Travlonean Dynamics. There's nothing prior to it seemed to work for me. Keep my heart from bleeding. So in short, when it comes to a reality that I perceive, why would I perceive anything other than Travlonean Dynamics?